So if you're looking to tune your snare drum and get that exact sound you want, then there's two main things you want to know. Let's undo this and get into those two straight away. The bottom head to get that snare buzz, and the top head for a feel that you like. Okay, so you can see my snare drum here is pretty well worn, and I need to rehead it. I have my new head here, which is the Remo Encore series. Not one I've used before, but I'm giving it a go after the reviews were not too bad. The snare drum, you obviously have the two sides. Now, most on your toms, you obviously have two heads as well, but with toms, you don't have the second head only needs to resonate. Now we've got a whole other thing going on here with the snares, that the snares actually need to sound resonant, and they need to move in the way that you want them to. And also when you take the catch off of the snares, you want no snares on the head, and you want a nice kind of buzz when you put them on. Again, it depends on the style of music you play, but I quite like a little bit of a buzz after I hit, and especially when I'm playing ghost notes. This is the Pearl Sensortone Steel. It gives me all the sounds that I want from a snare. I found that the sort of live venues that I play in, lots of kind of pubs and clubs, the steel cuts through really nicely, and even if I've done jazz gigs in smaller places, then it's nice and sensitive as well. So I haven't needed too many others. Haven't done so much recording in the last 10-15 years, so this is really kind of exactly what I need for most of the gigs that I play. Main thing number one, as I talked earlier about, this bottom head needs to be tight enough that it gives a nice crack, but also not so tight that the snares can't do any work on them. So if I just take the snares off a second, just hold that up. Now I've tuned that before my last gig, so that's basically where I want it to be. It's pretty tight, but it's not tight to the point that there's no movement in it at all, and I still want a bit of resonance. The snares are tuned, and I'll show you this later when I play it, so that they give a little bit of buzz, and you can hear that almost when I'm speaking. I play now actually with the catch on my right hand side and the snares running lengthways. When I used to play more kind of orchestral music, then I used to have it vertically, but that was to kind of get smaller, more buzz sound when I was there. But because of ghost notes, I tend to play on the left hand side, and I want to be able to move the catch on and off from here whilst playing. It makes more sense when I'm playing drum kit to have it as horizontally. So let's get this on now. Where I can't put any more tension on these lugs, and I hope they're called lugs. I'll have to check that, because in the other tom tuning video I have, that's there as well. So the number one tip was the bottom head tight, but not so much that there's no resonance. Top tip on this one is to get an even sound and a feel that you like. So bottom head to get that snare buzz, and the top head for a feel that you like. So now I'm going to get the wrinkles out by evenly turning about half a turn on each of these. If you know your drums and you know your heads better, you may not need to turn them as far. So this sound at the moment, I've got a lot of snare buzz. Definitely not the tone I want on the snare, so I'm going to actually go another half turn up. Get in there more with the sound that I kind of like. I would like to actually tighten the snares a little bit more, so I'm just going to pull that plastic. Can you see there? The drum key goes on those two parts there, and you can just tighten the plastic of the snare. So unfortunately I found that I have tightened this all the way up here, and that means that there's no wriggle room really for the tightness. Okay, that's more. A little bit. might dampen that a little bit with a bit of tape. If I put that there now, you'll get a good idea of how that sounds. Still not quite the right tension and feel for me, so I'm going to go up again. Okay, like that sound. And you can hear then, when playing ghost notes, or rolling, get an idea then. There's a little bit of kind of ting, bit of a higher tone that comes off at the end, and I like that for live venues, just so that snare really comes through. I don't always get mic'd up. It's a whole different thing then when the whole kit's mic'd up, but this has been, my kit is set up really to be acoustic, with maybe a bass drum mic. So that's how I tune my snare. About 90% tightness on the bottom. Think about having snare buzz and then feel on the top. And a bonus tip, you can always, if you want to, put an upside down head on there for that kind of lo-fi feel. I think if I get even heavier on, if you want to change feel between songs. So if you're wondering how I tune my toms, that video is next up. And that'll look at the same sort of thing, but just on toms and looking at how to get that resonant head in tone.